Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got some hustling that we have to do this week before the cold weather sets in. It's one of the last warm weeks. I think it's about 40 degrees up here in the Northwoods. And, you know, I had to reevaluate a few things that we're doing here at the cabin. I do have a full wood shed, but I'm unable to split wood and do things of that nature because of some health issues I got going on with my neck, spine, and arm. And so with that in mind, we decided to make a major improvement to the cabin. And that is, we got that big obnoxious thing. Stay tuned and I'll show you how we're going to install a furnace on this week's Carl's Off the Grid. In today's video, we are going to be installing an Ashley Hearth 17,000 BTU direct vent propane heater. And I've chose to start at the exterior of the cabin because siding is not one of my strong points. And I figured if I'd go ahead and make an outlet underneath the flashing in the area where I'm working right now, that would probably be the easiest place for me to start. And I wouldn't have to do too much repair to the siding. Oh, how close is that? Okay, one thing I wanted to show you real quick is I know I'm going to get a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, you cut through one of your stud walls, you have to header this out. But no, actually, back in the building stages when I was developing this cabin, I do have a board that's above here that headered out. And I put that in before we put in our blown in insulation and everything. So we're going to be just fine. And so don't ever cut through any of these riser stud walls without having the appropriate support, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, and for the mounting bracket that we are going to be putting up against the wall for fireproofing and for the mounting of the furnace, it'll go on this steel here, which has some holes for this fireproofing bracket to go inside the wall on. And I'm going to go ahead and just install this outside the cabin. For one, it's better lighting, and for two, I'm not going to be fighting a tight space that I'm working in. So it just has a matter of, I think it's 8 screws that go in total. So I'm just going to go ahead and prefab this right now. All right, I was wrong. There's only 6 screws, but what I did is I just got them started finger tight, and we'll snug them up with the drill. And these are just sheet metal screws that are going through, so don't crank on them too tight. All right, and then that's what it gives us right there. Okay, so screws are tightened in now, and the way the manufacturer has it set in, it can only really go in one way. The 2 screws are at the top part, and I think they do it this way so that if, God forbid, but if anything ever were to happen where it were to start and fire, now we have this steel that's here to protect the cabin from burning down. So we're ready to go ahead and stick this in the wall and secure the mounting bracket to the wall. All right, and I kept everything here really tight. I cut that hole that vents through the cabin as tight as possible because I don't want a lot of vermin or insects coming into the cabin. So now you can just simply take everything that you prefab together. There we go. There, slid right in. So we're ready to go ahead, and I'll put the level on it. We'll get it leveled out, which it's darn near perfect right there. And we're ready to go ahead and put in our spacers and the mounting screws through the provided holes that still remain on this bracket. All right, and I'll show you on this one how it goes. The steel washer goes behind, and then you just put the screw through the center of the steel washer and screw it into the wall. All right, and we're going to do that 4 times. It's these 4 in the corners, but I just wanted to show you with one. I'll go ahead and put my level on, which I see I'm a little bit off here, but I'll straighten this out and I'll connect the rest. All right. On this black bracket that's here, there's a hole here and a hole here. And those get mounted to the hole here and the hole here on the mounting bracket. And then there's also 2 screws that go in the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and just gently put this together, and then we'll connect up those 4 screws. All right, there you go, as simple as pie. So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-start these screws if I can get my hand to work. And just so that I don't have to worry about this thing falling down on top of me, we'll go ahead and secure these. There's one. And there we go. There's number 2. Now there are 2 screws that go in on the bottom as well, but I was just going to show you on the top screws just for the sake of it's easier to film. Okay, first thing, we went ahead and we pre-measured how thick our wall is to the home. So we cut everything to size. They give you an insulative wrap. Make sure that you put the insulation on it. And then it's as simple as put the rod in first, the threaded rod. And then the inner part of the flue system goes on. And you'll see that there's like a male part that the female part of the pipe here just slides into, and it pushed all the way home, and we're good to go. You'll see we cut this a little bit short. That's because of that part that it has to slide into. So we'll put the external portion in. And that's on right now. All right, and this is going to be our weatherproofing right here, our flashing, so to speak. And we'll put that in, and then once that flashing is on, then we go ahead and put on the cover. Thing that didn't come with this furnace or whatever is a flashing for on the bottom here. This just looked hideous before because we have corrugated steel and you have all these ridges. I wanted to have something that sealed that off. So we went to Home Cheapo and we bought the Z flashing. It's the same Z flashing that I used on the shower house. And this is actually extra from that project. And that's where we got it from, was Home Depot. Menards, any place that carries steel siding will have it. I cut it to size, and then I tucked it behind here, and that Z flashing comes up. You can see by this here, it comes up about 1.5 inches. So by the time I caulk the sides of this or silicone it, and with the added Z flashing that's in here, this will be 100% sealed off so that we don't have to worry about flies or any insects getting in there, or more importantly, any rain. All right, then behind the scenes, we went ahead and we called the local LP provider that we have here in the area. And we had them go ahead and set this tank for us. It's in the backyard next to the solar panels, so it'll be out of the way. And I got a big enough tank. I think this is a 500-gallon tank, if I'm not mistaken. And we should be able to fill this up in the fall, and I don't have to worry about them getting back here in the winter time, because it's all full and everything's up to snuff, and we got more than what we need. And then originally, when I first had the cabin and I was roughing it in, I did rough out that gas for a future kitchen and for a future heater. And I'm glad I did, because they went ahead and they stuck this right there, that regulator on, which reduces the pressure down to a good working pressure for the cabin. And you can see everything turned out pretty decent. Everything's plumb and straight, and it doesn't look like some hack just whipped it together. It looks professional, like it's always been there. And the wall furnace comes with a 1/2-inch tapping for a gas line. So I went ahead and put in a code-approved flexible gas line for the bottom of the furnace. And now we should be live. We can fire this thing up and see how it works out. Okay, so the furnace is safely installed in the back corner of our cabin, fairly close to our battery bank. So I think we're within about 10 feet of the battery bank, so we shouldn't have to worry about batteries freezing this year. All right, to light the heater, it's going to be like any other gas appliance or LP appliance. You're going to go ahead and push this button down with the there's going to be 2 arrows, one that says pilot and one arrow's on the unit. Just hold it down for a second, and you depress the self-igniter, and it has a clear glass here in the center that'll show you the flame. I can see it's lit. We're going to hold this down for about 30 seconds or so, and then when you let it back up, the pilot should stay lit, and I can see through this glass that it's lit. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll set it at the lowest setting. And sure enough, it's starting to fire up right now. And I love it because it's so quiet you can't even hear it. This unit does not have a blower motor on it. It just rises up by the heat. So we'll give it a try, and we'll let you know how it works tonight. And we'll check in with you tomorrow morning. All right, it's toasty in there. Our first night was a success. We kept the furnace at the lowest setting possible for the first part of the evening while we were eating our dinner and whatnot, to see how this thing would react. And the cabin stayed right at about 63 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we went ahead, and it has 5 different settings that you can set it up to. For the nighttime, we did goose it up to 3, and it stayed right at about 67 degrees. And then this morning, because it was so brisk out, we cheated and we bumped it up to 4, and it was about 74 degrees in there when I left. It was just a little too warm for my liking, but it was the first night ever in the fall or winter that I didn't have to get up to stack firewood in a wood burning stove. So until my hand can heal, this thing is going to be a game changer. I don't know if this is something that we're going to use all the time, but we definitely need to have it until I can heal up, until I can get back to work and doing regular activities. So pretty cool setup, and I'm glad we made the choice to go ahead and install this thing. It's definitely a good a game changer for us. So all right, we're gonna get heading out here. We gotta clean up a few things and get things in order. We haven't been up here in a while, but appreciate you joining me for this video. We'll catch you next time on Carl's Off the Grid.
Wonder how
much longer those swans will be on the lake.
I don't know. I think they think it's still summertime. Isn't this kind of late for them?
Yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if we can get the moon in there.
I love how the moon is mirrored in the lake.
Just beautiful.